I'm happy to be joined today on Primetime Local News by James Jackson, who's President and CEO of Tourism Jasper. James, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's talk about this beautiful area. It's one of my favorite places in Canada, and so many people from this area go to Jasper over the summer. What are some of the things that are available? There's still lots of time, left in our summer. So what are some things that are available at the park that people can do? Let's talk about some of the touristy type things first.
Yeah, so folks might have not been to Jasper in a few years, given COVID and everything. So there's a few things that are new. We actually have a new hotel called the Forest Park Inn. It's the first hotel to be built in Jasper since 1983, so that's really exciting. It's adjacent to the previously known Sawridge Hotel and Conference Center, and the two are now connected as one property, which is really exciting. But an entirely new wing of 88 suites, so I would encourage everyone to take a look at that. There's also a great new restaurant called Terra. It's sort of farm to table concept, and I would say it's probably the most beautiful room decor wise in town. So that's definitely something to check out. Fantastic cocktails there. Across the river at the Fairmont Jasper Park Lodge, they're actually celebrating their 100th anniversary. So there'll be a ton of events happening over the course of the year, right through till the end of the year in December. So I would encourage everybody to check out that. They have an event at the end of this week called Bubbles on Beauvert Champagne on the shores of Lac Beauvert, which is fantastic. So it kind of gives you an idea of what's going on. And then finally, for the theater lovers out there, there's actually a new theater company in Jasper, which is really great. And they're producing a show called From Jasper with Love. It's a hilarious show about sort of like old local stories and wildlife interactions and that kind of thing. But it's really, really great. So I'd encourage everybody to check that out too.
Now, I know that sometimes it's difficult to get reservations for places in hotels if you don't book well in advance. Do you know how that's looking over the summer? Would there still be some availability and given now that there is a few extra spaces?
Yeah, there is availability, and admittedly, travel right now is a little challenging to say the least. But I can say that because of some of those international challenges, a little bit of room is opening up in Jasper. So I would encourage folks to check out our website, jasper.travel. But also approach the hotels directly. So opposed to looking online at an Expedia or booking.com, sometimes you won't be able to access the entire inventory of the hotel. So call them directly. There's usually a room or two kicking around. And like you said, really book in advance. And at the same token, think about doing the same thing with activities or restaurants. Jasper's not immune to the labor challenges that we're experiencing all over the world. And so the more that you can prepare in advance, bring a little patience along with your bike or your cooler, will go a long way.
Are there still spots where people can camp, do some traditional camping as well, whether it be tenting or bringing their own trailers, that sort of thing?
Yeah, camping's been a very hot commodity this season. We've seen extremely high demand, like everywhere. I think people have been really dying to get out and travel and camp. So that's kind of no surprise, but there is some limited availability in some of the flagship campgrounds. At the same time, though, there is the sort of on-call standby walk-up campgrounds, the overflow as we call them. So if folks are struggling to find a spot on the dates that you're looking to arrive, I would say come early, and the chances are you can get a spot in our overflow lots.
Well, and some people who haven't been to Jasper, maybe you can tell them a little bit about what they could do, even if they were, close in the area and did a day trip, if they couldn't get accommodations. Let's talk about some of the places that you can, even go for a hike or just do a little tour of some of the restaurants and bakeries and such in the town. Can you just go over some of those details?
Sure. Well, many people know Jasper for some of its iconic attractions. Obviously the Columbia ice fields and the Athabasca Glacier are amazing. That experience is world class, and so we'd encourage folks, depending on how they're driving up from your region, they might want to come up through Saskatchewan Crossing and check that out. At the same time, Spirit Island is sort of the postcard iconic picture of Jasper, and so you can take the Moline Lake boat cruise to the island, and that's a very, very special experience. But then you can also check out the Jasper Skytram. Takes you a mile into the air in 7 minutes. The best views of the Athabasca Valley. But maybe for different perspectives, you can also try a ton of these different tours that we have. So you can go on a plant walk with an Indigenous storyteller, with warrior women. You can go on a canoe tour in a handmade traditional voyageur canoe at Pyramid Lake with great guides there. As well, we've got mountain biking, we've got picnic, which is a short hike followed by cooking your own backcountry meal on a little hill above town, which is a great experience. And then obviously the classics, whitewater rafting, motorcycle tours, and horseback riding. Just different ways of viewing the park, maybe a different angle than folks have tried before.
Well, if people are looking for information, I know you mentioned it at the beginning, but what is your website once again, just so we can direct them to that area, and then they can see some of the availability and get in touch with you guys if they have more questions.
Sure, it's simply just jasper.travel, and everything you'll need to find is on there. As well, follow our social channels, Tourism Jasper, and you should be able to find everything you need.
Well, fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I know, like I said, Jasper is well worth the trip, even if you're making it for a day trip. So much to see and do there. So thank you very much. And let's chat again towards the fall.
Appreciate it, Stacey. Thanks so much.